Hey, everyone. Sawmill Charlie. Well, it's another Friday night bee chat. Hope everybody's doing good. Hey, Mike and Keith. Hey, Block Farm, April. Hey, Jeremy. And we got Mark. And that's about all. I guess everybody's visiting with Cayman over there. He had to come in on me. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. And let's see. We got to get this thing out of the way. Pin the message. Oh, there we are. There's the link in the thing. Hey, Water Oak. Hey, Tom. Hopefully everybody's doing well this week and their hives are doing good. All that good stuff. Find my paperwork here. There's the traveling beekeeper.
Oh.
Traveling beekeeper. How's Philip?
How you doing, Charlie?
Good. Oh, my. Hey, God. Huh?
I'm the over-the-road correspondent for Sawmill Charlie's Beekeeping.
Yeah, and hey, Rick out in Nebraska or Block Avery. I had to look at my list.
Somebody put on here that me and Charlie are on, and we'll pull everybody from Cayman. How's that?
I doubt it.
We'll shut him down.
I doubt it. Well, I guess we can announce a few things. Probably everybody already knows it. This past Monday, hey, Joe and Clay. This past Monday, let's see, the rent, what do you call hotels are open up for booking for Nobby. And then a week from today, on the 15th, the tickets go on sale for Nobby. And I want to, something that I just noticed last night on Keith's channel that I listened to, that you only got 7 days for the early bird specials. Then the prices jump. I believe it's $15 on the first jump. So, and all that. So you guys, what's that?
The prices will be increased from last year. We just don't know yet what they are.
Yeah, it's $195 for the early birds ticket.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, $195, and then it goes up to $210 after the first 7 days.
Okay.
And there will be classes all day Thursday, but the trade show still opens at, I'll say, noontime Thursday. So 2.5 days of trade show, which to me, I wish there was 3 days of trade show. Then I would be able to see everything, or at least take my time to go through it and that kind of stuff.
I think I paid about $210 last year for the really late ticket for Noah. I think that's what I paid. I think I paid like $185 or something like that for mine, which was like.
And like Clay says, they doubled the size of the trade show from 120,000 square feet to 220,000 or 240,000 square feet. And the thing of it is, if you doubled it, that means there's more stuff, and it's like you need more time to see it all. I mean, there was, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I listened to Keith's, the rerun of Keith's show. I couldn't listen last night, but it sounds like they're going to have the honey show on the main floor.
They're going to be in the same area. Something I got.
and they're pulling Hillco, which was off in the corner. They're pulling them back into the fray.
Center of it.
So that's going to take up some of it. I like the idea of having the honey show there. If they'll let us in to see it, or even, I'm sure they'll have the big white curtains up while they're doing all their judging.
Yeah, DC, get your passport and everything ready and get on the airplane.
I don't want to hear about DC until he's bought his ticket. He got me all excited last year, and I don't want to hear about it, DC, until you got your ticket.
You got to get your ticket and get there a day ahead of time for the big party.
There was a whole hell of a lot of build-up, DC. I'm going to get my heart broken again.
Yeah. Yep.
Who is that? Is that Bill's picture?
Yeah, he's trying to get his camera worked on.
It looked better before. It looked better before, Bill.
Yeah, I figured it did. I just knew you'd say that too. That's why I did it like that.
That's right.
But yeah, so that's the big news for now.
Oh, but tickets going on sale for Navi?
Yeah, that'll be next Friday on the 15th.
Yep.
And that's only good for that early bird special. I didn't realize I had to go back and look at the dates. It's only good for 7 days till the following Thursday.
Yep, that's it.
Hey, Chris. So anyway, did we get anything done in the apiary, Bill, this weekend?
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
We this past weekend or this?
I guess what it was. You were talking about doing some stuff, and I know you had
we got our inspection Monday.
Okay. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And everything was good there.
Everything was good with the inspection. So good to go.
Yeah, I got out in the apiary. Let's see, today's Friday, Thursday. It was Thursday. That's why. Went out there Thursday and evening, and I checked all the Demarees, and I think maybe found 2 or 3 frames that needed queen cells knocked off. And then as I was checking out, I was checking honey supers, so I wound up putting a super on 9 different hives, and some of them I got some of them, they're the baby hives. They only got 1 super, and they're barely filling them up because they just don't have the bee population. But the other ones either have 2 or 3 honey supers on. Not that they're full, but they're, I figured, well, with the weather changing and going crazy here the next week or so, depending on how it goes with rain or whatever, I got them on. So I'm good to go for a week or 2 to check them. And then I don't know. See, that was Thursday. I think I must have went out there. I don't know what it was the day. It wasn't Wednesday night. I had a club or a board meeting. I guess it was Tuesday. I went out there and just kind of poking around, and I went to thank you, Dot. Appreciate that. Went out there and I took some bee bites that I had in the pickup truck and quartered them up and put them on my nukes that were growing. I put a quarter patty or so on what was it? No, it wasn't. It was about a half a pound patty, I guess. What was left, I wasn't going to quarter it up. I said I'll just put the whole thing on the cell builder. And then I had put that pail of Pro Sweet in the hot box. So it was kind of chugging out like liquefied mayonnaise, I guess you would call it, in a quart jar. So I put that at the top of one of the honey gallon buckets in there up in where the most hot heat was. And so that actually pretty much went back to clear liquid.
Well,
So
good.
I gave him that. I put that with a lid on there and put that on the cell builder. And, that way they got some food coming in, as the bees are hatching out, they got something to eat and all that. I presume that the bee bites will be a positive thing for them. And, so hopefully maybe Monday I might graft. I'm not sure, by that time most of the, hey, Billy Lee, most of the, hey, Pete, most of the stuff will be hatched out, I guess. I need to find some larvae to graft. And then the next big problem I'm going to have is trying to find enough resources to make up some mating boxes. If I get a good take.
You got a big, strong hive?
Well, I got a bunch of them out there. I'm trying to pull, we'll see.
We'll frame a cap brood out of 2 or 3 of them and call it good.
Well, I need about, if I do 20 or I do 30 cells, and let's say like they did last time, 28 took.
Yeah, but if you pull 3 frames of cap brood, they've already got nurse bees on them, and you're going to have nurse bees hatching out. That should be plenty.
Yeah. But I got to find enough to maybe do 10 or 18 boxes full. That's going to be a killer. I don't know. I have to see.
Yeah.
It's going to be, hopefully, I took 10 frames of cap brood just to make that cell builder. So I took a lot of resources out of those hives. And so we'll see. I don't know. The nukes are doing pretty good. Of course, I'm giving some of them, I'm giving cap. I haven't looked at some of them about as far as the frames that were foundation.
Yeah.
But I think they're drawing some of that out. They're all laying. I got one nuke out there that queen didn't make it or do something. Anyway, they got a virgin in there. And my biggest, baddest, strongest hive, that queen tanked on me, and I got out there late. Guys, I don't know what I told us on the internet. I found an open queen cell up in the top with a flap.
Yeah, you said something about that Monday night.
Yeah, well, anyway, I found her. I put her down in the bottom by herself. Hopefully, in 2 weeks she'll be start to lay and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. And the one hive on number 1 out there, that was a hive that I got rid of the queen, and I bought a package from Robert and dumped the bees in there and put the queen in there, and they're building. They're up to 2 mediums, and I got a super on top of them just to give them someplace to store. And they're starting to store a little bit, not much. They just don't have the I don't think they're going to do much for me this year. But you got to start somewhere to do replacements and stuff and all that. So my main thing is I want to do is like do this here thing like Eddie does, is kind of make up a 2 or 3 frame nuke in a 5 frame nuke box and get them going. And by mid to late June, they should be, they show a good quality looking nuke with a fresh queen. Then I can pull those old queens out of these hives and drop, especially the ones that have 24 queens, drop those new ones in there for next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll come through the winter and come up to spring and do a great buildup for me.
Well, that would be good if they did that.
And we'll see. I want to watch them, as far as their quality of laying pattern. Give me time to watch that and whether they're any damn good or not. That was my question about the queens that I put in there this last year. There are 25 queens, but I don't know whether they're all that great quality wise. So, Phil, where are you driving to? Your mother's house, or where is it?
Yeah, I'm driving to my mom's.
How's your mom doing?
The last time I saw her 2 weeks ago, she had really taken a kind of a downturn. From the time I'd seen her 3 weeks before that, so I'm anxious to see how she's doing. But with her Alzheimer's, it's kind of like that. It goes along about the same for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's like falling off a cliff. It should level out again, hopefully. But yeah, she didn't respond much at all to me last time. So we'll see. It is what it is. Just blessed to have a hatter as long as we have. So, Phil, you probably covered it on your show. I hadn't seen it. I wasn't able to watch on Monday, and I hadn't looked at the rerun. But you had some surgery or something recently?
I did.
I'm sure you covered it, but I was just wanting to see how you're doing.
I was at the doctor Tuesday. He said everything looks good. He said it's healing very well. I go back in 2 weeks to get some of the stitches out. I'm not going to take them all out at one time.
What did you have done? I don't even know what you had done.
The minor toe of my right foot, the pinky toe of my right foot.
Yeah.
Like halfway down my foot, they took it off because of the bones were just crumbling.
Ow.
So, no pain meds now for a week. And he told me I could start driving a little bit. So,
well, how are you going to drive with not putting any weight on it and stuff?
Well, that's the key. It's I can weight bear a little bit. So he cleared me to drive.
You got a
around
boot
here.
You actually got a boot, I guess, right?
Yeah, I got a boot on. So, yep.
Well, that's a little quicker than what he said for, what was it, 6 weeks or something like that with no weight bearing?
Yeah. He was pleased with it. And the bone cement that they put in helped it heal a little bit quicker than he was planning on.
What's it called? Bone cement?
Bone cement. It's antibiotic impregnated bone cement.
I've never heard of that.
Yep. It's something new on the market. They use it to when they put a knee implant in, they use it to help hold the knee implant so that the bone grows around it the way it's supposed to. This is the first time they've used it in a amputation operation in this area. So they've used it other places, it's been successful, so he tried it. I was the guinea pig.
Are you going to have to do physical therapy to walk again?
Nope. Your minor toe has nothing to do with balance. The big toe is what is your balance.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that part of it. The big toe
Yeah,
is.
but it's a shock when you look down there and this toe's gone and half of this one's gone, and you got 3 toes sticking up with a half a big toe. So
What do you mean half a toe? How can you remove half a toe? That don't make sense to me.
yeah, they just took the top section of my big toe from the
Oh.
first down to the first joint in December. That was
Oh.
the operation in December, and then this one just here recently was on the outside of the foot.
All right. So that's what you were dealing with at Nobby then.
Yeah, it was the big toe.
You were in a boot then.
Yeah.
Hey, Roy.
So. Yep.
Tell you what, man, your wife's gonna get the Golden Wife Award, man, after putting up with all that and watching the bees for you.
Yeah, and she's working the apiary too.
I want you to get her a nice birthday present this year.
Oh, she'll get one. She's getting a good anniversary present too for our 10th anniversary too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where are you at now, Philip? About what state you in?
I'm in Louisiana. Really about the same place I talked to you, maybe a little further along. I know I'm a lot further along than I was last time, but the time before that, about the same.
So, did they get all that rain or something? I know they talked about, was it Mississippi or someplace they had a ton of rain?
Mississippi had some real bad weather, probably about 4 or 5 days ago, I think. But I'm not sure how it was through here. I don't see any damage or any water standing anywhere. It was raining or getting ready to storm last time I was talking to you guys 2 weeks ago driving through here. I was seeing the heck of a lightning storm. And it rained that night. It rained bucket.
Well, that's one thing we've had around here. We've got locust blooming and it's still good. And we've had some rain, but it was been more of a light shower at night or whatever. And it didn't wash the blooms or, the petals and stuff like that. Now they're saying supposedly heavy showers Monday, but I think that's too far out for them to know and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like every year. I'm just really down on my bees. My bees don't have any honey at all on them. Depressing to watch other people's channels and see them bring honey.
Yeah. Hey, Brian.
Oh well, we'll see. Maybe I can get a few 100 pounds like I usually do. Pull it out at the end. We'll see.
Well, it's raining out in St. Louis. Tom and Melissa are passing out nukes in the rain.
Gotta love it. Better you, Tom, than me.
And then Joe here, he's got a Defender hive, and he wants to know how do you keep the bees out of the feeder.
Yeah, that Defender hive I've got set up. They don't care about the feeders. They keep building up in the top until the center of it pushes up, and they go past, and they're building comb in the top.
It's raining in Ohio, so I guess maybe the rain's coming towards me. It's supposed to be here tomorrow sometime.
Yeah, I hope it does rain. We need it bad. We need it bad.
Yeah, and my new bee yard, when I went out there and set it up, I already knew there was a person that had 8 hives just right across the fence, which was about, I don't know, 100 yards maybe away where I put my hives. And they had put their hives facing the person that I'm keeping bees for on their property. They put their hives like 5 feet from the fence facing the other person's property, which I thought was kind of presumptuous to do that. You know, they got them all the way on the edge of their client's property, pointing them at my client's property. And then I found out last weekend that that same beekeeper put 8 more hives on the other property that's around, that's about probably not more than 30 yards from my hives. They're not pointed at his property, but they're pointed parallel. But now my little bee yard is competing with 16 more colonies for resources.
Hmm.
Oh well.
And the other thing I can say with like Joe about those defender hives, I mean, I do know that you can you turn that plastic thing window, whatever, inside that feeder for one for open feeding and one for closed or liquid feeding. And hopefully that's all. I'm sure that's probably still in the right position. You know, I got one, but I've never even got it populated yet. Haven't even got it out of the basement. Clay says he's at Mary's house, and everything green and black locust was blooming.
Yeah, I saw some black locust here out in town at the far end of town. So I don't know. There's none here on the farm blooming.
Yeah, it's across the road. Me, it's been blooming for about a week. Nice big blossoms. Everything you go up and down the roadway, it's the same way. The only thing I can say, Joe, on that is one thing I've noticed with my top high feeders is that you got to constantly keep them. Don't let them run out. You've got to keep them full, and that pretty much keeps the bees out of because they will try to get inside that feeder to try to get that last little lick of sugar water, and then they get in there and they die. I have that problem with some of my top high feeders, so you might have to go there every day or every other day, depending on. I mean, they're not that big of feeders, and keep them constantly full.
I'm thinking about going through my hives and taking off half the queen excluders just to see what happens.
So they'll fill them better or something.
Yeah, I think more bees are moving. There's some bees coming through the excluder, but not as many as I think should. The queen might go up there and start laying. I'm sure that happened to some of them. But because I'm running singles, I'm nervous about doing that. There's no honey in them right now, for sure. And I can always, if the queen moves up in there, I can always go in and shake her back down.
Thank you, Greg. Glad to see you on. Yeah, you say it's single brood chamber and you got supers on. Usually with that combination, those bees will go up through that excluder pretty easy.
I saw quite a few bees in some of them. There may just not be enough coming in.
Mm-hmm.
What got me to thinking about it was I was watching Bruce's bees videos. He didn't have time to go out, but he doesn't put his queen excluders on until they're into filling them up. Then he goes in and shakes them down, and like 3 weeks before he harvests. But now he did have some brood in that first. Of course, he's got 3 supers on. I've got 1. So.
Right.
Now I did on some that I had. It was 2 deeps, but I had when I did my splits, I had some mediums that actually had brood in them, so I had those mediums in the top deep, and so I went and I did shake those down and put them above the excluder
Yeah.
just to clean those up.
Hey, Joe, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Philip, when I did the single brood, I found as soon as they fill that bottom box, the queen excluder doesn't stop them at all. They just go right through it. The ones, if they have a couple frames on the outsides, they don't seem to go through as quickly, but they still get up through.
Okay.
I haven't had any problems with the excluders stopping them.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't see a whole lot of nectar or honey in the bottom anyway. So I think it's just they're just going running through everything they're bringing in. Probably what's happening.
Greg here says take the queen excluder out, let them work the super for a few days or a week, and then shake them back down and put it back in.
Yeah. My only issue with that, I agree with that, but I typically don't get around to my colonies except every like 2 weeks. So.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, Flower Street. Brian, I seen where you posted you're getting operated on. I hope everything went well, whatever that may be. I don't know whether that was because of the gallbladder, gallstones, or what.
It was kidney stones, but maybe I'm ready to right.
Was it kidney stones or? Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
All that. And Brian Castle Hives, how's the Demaree experiment going along?
I was in the middle of watching this video when I switched to your show.
Yeah, I was watching. He was inspecting, he had some really nice looking brood patterns there and stuff. Good looking queens, that's for sure. And all that.
I just did 4 today out of the single brood ones that got tired of pulling splits out of them. So I did Demaree on 4 of them. And then I started extracting sugar water honey from over the winter because I'm out of frames.
Mm.
Hey, Bill, when you were talking with the defender about pushing the feeder up, were you talking about pushing the whole feeder up or that inner clearish cover?
No,
when you switch?
there's 4 of them in there together.
Mm-hmm.
And in the center, if you don't have all 4 of those pushed down tight, they will just build up in the center until they push them up enough to where they can crawl through that little opening between the 4 of them and crawl up into the top. And it's not an easy thing to keep them down. Even if they're full, they won't stay completely down, and they can still push them up.
You talking about pushing the whole feeder up or that little
lid? The 4 feeders that go in the top.
Yeah.
They'll push up in the center of it and push them loose because they don't stay tight all the time. If they push on them enough, if there's enough bees in there, they'll pop them loose and they'll come up in the top and start building comb. Because mine, I've got enough bees in it to where that swarm is built up enough now to where it really needs to come out of that defender box and go in a regular hive is what needs to happen to it.
Mine are getting inside the feeder. They must be figuring some way. Maybe they're pushing up on that clear thing.
They might be, because it just sets in there. That's all it does. It doesn't snap.
Well, I mean, like I was saying before, I had those top hive feeders, like especially those the ones that fit the plastic hives and stuff like Bill has, and they got that plastic thing. They can't push up on it, but if there's enough fluid and there's no fluid in there and they're trying to reach that fluid and they can smell it, they will go up and over that ladder and down, and then they will squeeze through and get out into that tub area where the moisture is. And then of course they die because they can't get back in.
Right.
And all that stuff. And Greg Burns, far as the, holding back the flow because of cooler weather? I think so. I think here in Maryland, we normally would have a flow around the 1st of April, at least a small one. I don't think it ever even started till about the 15th or more of April. And then the locust bloom here is definitely 2 weeks sooner. It probably would normally start blooming next week sometime, about the time all that rain it's supposed to get in here.
Yep.
So I always call it the locust rains and all that stuff. All that. So I don't know. You might try just keeping the feeders full all the time, Joe, and see if that helps.
Yeah, like I said, maybe I'll duct tape down those inserts.
Yeah, because it might be if you keep them full, it might be enough weight to where they can't push up on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Greg, no, I don't really get any blackberry. We don't have a lot of blackberry vines around here that much. I'll say that poplar trees will kind of either come right behind the locust or kind of coincide at the same time. Now, we don't have enough in my area. We don't have enough, what would you call it? Wild, open spaces. We got farms, and of course the farms have pushed all the blackberry bushes and fence rows back and everything. Hey, Brad. And that kind of stuff, all that stuff is gone. And then everybody else has either got houses and they're spraying for everything to keep everything beautiful green grass, and that's it. Hey there, Todd. Yeah, he's waxing frames because he's got a major flow. Todd's got. There you go, Greg. Living Garden Homestead. He's right there in the same area you're in. But I guess your honey's been coming in, hasn't it, Joe? You got about the same kind of weather we've had, I think.
Yeah, it started out pretty well. Now it's slowed down again. So cold
Mhm.
weather. That the one freeze we had really hurt.
Yeah, I think you guys got more of a frost up there than what we did. You're a little bit northern. I know that Robert said the same thing.
Mhm.
He was talking about last year it was the rain for the locust, and this year was the cold. Well, we must have not got that hard frost. It got cold that night, but it was, upper 30s, close to 40.
Oh, we were
And
24.
oh no, we weren't that low.
Yep.
We were in the mid to upper 30s, maybe low 40s at the most. And like I say, the locust blooms here are looking beautiful. I've been looking at them. You know how they get real white, and then as time goes, they get kind of a brownish tint to them. And it looks like to me they're just starting to get that tint to it in some places.
Yeah, I don't have any close to me, and driving around, I haven't seen any along the road. Up where I am, over the mountain down in Carlisle, I saw some down there, but up where we are, I haven't seen any. I have some
Yeah,
black
around
cherry, but
here,
no
I go
locust.
up and down the main state highway or whatever. There'll be a tree here, tree there, tree, and they're all, got that white blossom grapey look to it
Yeah,
and
I have some
everything.
black cherry, but not seeing any locust.
I got black cherry too. That's that long white, kind of like a cigar finger look, kind of looks like that hanging down. We
Mhm.
got we've had them about a week before locusts actually bloomed and everything and all that. So that's been blooming probably a week or more. Then than what the locust has been.
Our black cherry just started, so maybe we saw the locust behind that.
Possibly.
Saw the
Hey,
first
Lisa.
clover flower today in the yard.
Clover, white clover.
Yep.
Yep. I want to say hi to Lisa and welcome, Living Garden Homestead. I don't believe you've been on my chat. Good to see you. We're here every Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There's the bucket list bees. He's saying that the bees are going through using wet supers. I was on the chat prior, and they were up in Westchester, PA. You know where that's at, and they're talking about harvesting capped honey, and I'm like, when did you put the supers on? To have actually 2/3 capped, and he said somewhere around the 1st of April or whatever. But up that way, it seems like there's some different forest or I'll call them parks or protected land, that the government owns that must have quite a bit of nectar plants in there. And along it has several different streams or rivers that feed the moisture to it in the area. And they get quite the flow up that way.
Greg, I'm not sure. I've got 2 trees on my property, and I don't separate the honey out. I pull everything at one time. So if the black cherry's there, it's mixed in with it.
Is that a regular black cherry, or is that called would you call that a choke cherry?
It's a black cherry. It doesn't get the cherries on it, I don't think.
Okay. I know there was somebody on Cayman's thing asking about whether choke cherries was any good. He had a big forest of them, and he didn't know. As far as the white clover, the Dutch white clover, I don't really put a whole lot of faith in that because, if the bees are on it early in the morning, that's fine. But by mid morning, the moisture is dried up and all. Most times I ever see on white cherry is, or white clover is bumblebees. Mm. Yeah, I don't know when the weather. It's been warm. It's like warm, nice, 1 or 2 days or 3 days, and then it's cold for so many days. We have been getting a little bit of rain, nothing hard, but enough to keep things kind of going.
We got some rain down here the other day, and it was like somebody taking a watering sprinkler, water bucket with a sprinkler on it, and just doing this around the area. That was all it was. It didn't mount to anything.
Yeah, we had one on a couple of nights ago. It was supposed to rain, and like you said, it was more of a more like just a sprinkling, not much to it at all. And then we've had some other rains that were a little bit nicer. Hey, Dinah. Well, thank you, Greg, for coming in and supporting me. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's supposed to rain next week, but I kind of want it to rain. But on the other hand, I don't want the damn locust to wash away either. Try to get as much as that because last year we didn't get a whole lot of it. It rained all the time. and all that. So when now on your Demaree, Joe, are you doing the rolling Demaree or the traditional Demaree?
I'll probably do rolling. I just started them today, but I'll get back in and rotate them.
Well, thank you there, Greg. Appreciate that. So you're just bringing cat brood up to the top.
Yeah. I pulled some
Yeah.
honey today. It's a couple of them are getting honey bound on the bottom, so I pulled a couple honey frames up as well.
Oh yeah. And you're doing what? You're doing deep frames.
Yeah.
So what do you got right now? You got a single deep queen excluder and maybe let's say one or two honey supers.
Yeah, most of them are deep, excluder, medium, and then the deep that I put on today.
Right. Yeah, just go back. I find 5 or 6 days and check for cells. I went back, like I say, yesterday, and I had, out of all the highs I've checked, I probably had 3 frames that had cells. One frame that must have had 5 cells on both sides. And I, nicked them all out, and then some of them you had to watch. They were real little. They were like a two cell, just barely making two little bumps there that if you didn't watch close enough, you would have missed it and cut them out of there. And then, like I said, I had harvested 10 nice frames for my cell builder. So I didn't have to worry about, watching as many cells as I did. I got to get out there Sunday morning and check that cell builder, make sure that, there's no cells in there and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. It's one of them days. I just kind of here lately, I've been thinking about it and, you get kind of frustrated with the bees. You wanted your hives to be a certain strength and do certain things. And I just kind of have told myself, it is what it is. The bees are going to do what the bees are going to do. And as long as you can keep up with putting supers on and, there's going to be some hives that make a lot of honey and other ones that ain't going to make much of anything because of the size. And I guess my biggest complaint is that I tried to, have fresh queens for this spring, but I'll say they're mediocre type queens. And then where I've tried to replace hives with my nukes that overwintered, some of those nukes just didn't turn out very well. And all that.
I'm trying to
No
feel
problem.
the same way, Charlie. I worked harder this spring than I've ever worked by trying to do a bunch of walkways or vertical splits. Gone back and moved brood down from the top to the bottom, try to get those queens going. But we'll see if maybe it'll pay off late. But it seems like I worked just way harder for the same or less honey. I'm thinking maybe I need to take Mr. Ed's way of doing it. Just do a bunch of walkaway splits and not worry about it. And
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was like Brad up there at Hog up there at Faith Apiaries. He's had a lot of problems over the last 3 or 4 years, and he's kind of cut back on all the additives and different things of that nature. And things are a little bit better for him, but I still say there's a nosema, some type of disease problem there somewhere. He's got a lot of hives that are dysentery and severe dysentery. I mean, and up there, I get it where they're in the building for 6 months or more. I get that part, but even the ones that are outside, of course, he's got severe weather outside too. And I just often wonder what the problem there is. But I mean, my bees look good. a lot of times I got, what would you call it? Kind of like fooled where the top box looked great, but when you pull the bottom box up, there ain't a whole lot of bees on the bottom side.
Yeah.
And I had a few hives like that, and it just didn't work out. And I've also said in earlier shows here where I'm wondering whether, when it comes to the queens, it's, yeah, you can graft your own stuff, but it takes years to, I'll say, to improve your genetics through your own grafting process. Is it better just to, when you buy bulk queens, are they as good as they all claim to be? And then, like one question I had here one time was like, you go to the ABJ magazine, you got at least a dozen queen breeders out there, but which one makes one better than the other,
But you had really good luck 2 years ago with queens. Did you get those?
That was when I bought a bunch of queens in and nukes and whatever. And, that it was, I went from old queens to fresh queens from in the springtime. And that's when things kicked in. It really did a good job and all. And that's when I started, experimenting and talking and questioning people about requeening. And last year, my queens were 2 years old and they were definitely wore out because of my Demaree method. Then this year or last fall, I tried to requeen everybody that I could find. And so, I'm still in that mode, trying to requeen. And I was trying to use virgins and implement that way instead of doing mating boxes, but I don't think that works quite as well. The rolling Demaree will make those queens work harder. That's why the queens wear out so fast, because you force them to make more eggs than, I'll say, what normally happens. But on the other hand, I don't have any swarms. I don't have to worry about swarms. As long as you keep giving that queen a place to lay and you pull that cap brood up out of the bottom, you're doing a vertical split instead of a horizontal split. Horizontal meaning you're making another hive over here. Well, we don't want to make another hive. We just want her to have plenty of place to lay. And that hive gets bigger and bigger and bigger. They don't mate as well. Yeah, I can definitely tell you. I think the science people have said that. And mating is not as good as it used to be. And everything's not as good as it used to be. So like us in the lumber business, our trees coming in are not as good as they used to be. A lot of defects and stuff. And all. But Joe, yeah, it sounds like you got it down what you need to be doing.
Yeah, I think out of the singles, I made seven more splits to stop them from swarming. And at one point, I said, "That's plenty. We're going vertical now."
Well, a lot of times with this Demaree, what I'm finding with people is, it's something that you can't really. You have a hard time talking about it as far as making people understand it, I guess, is that you got to have the right kind of bee population for a Demaree. You got to have a super strong hive. And I got some hives out there that they just don't have the population. And what they got is 2 mediums and a queen excluder and 1 honey super. And I put the honey super on there. I'm like, okay, I don't want the brood box to build up with honey. So I put the super on there so they have some place to put it. So, if they ever get that far. And that's all about bee population.
The thing I noticed was probably in the way I did the splits. I did those splits over double screen boards. I thought I equalized them, but I'm noticing I haven't had to Demaree any of the top boxes. It's all been the original bottom boxes are the ones that are getting close to swarming in the single brood, and then I have to put the Demaree on top of them. The
That's
ones that I
right.
pulled off and moved elsewhere, they're still building up. They're not nearly as strong. I thought I'd equalized them, but I guess I didn't equalize them as well as I thought they were when I did the splits.
Yeah, and Brian did the same thing I was talking about. Why don't you come on in, Brian? Yeah, well, that's the thing about the Demaree is that it's all about that bottom brood box. If you can't, you got to keep moving that stuff up, and then once those, I don't like them packing honey in my brood frames, so I will pull them frames out of there and then move them right back down. And I don't know if there is a little bit of nectar in there. I think that they'll move it up or they'll use it either way and all that.
Hey, Charlie, when you say traditional Demaree, what do you mean?
Well, the original Demaree was where they take the bottom box off. Have it in your mind, you got a double deep. They take the bottom brood box and set it off to the side. They put a new box on the bottom. And it's full of drawn comb. And then I would always recommend you want the queen on her frame with maybe a brood frame and a food frame. So there'll be 3 frames of bees and brood and food. And then the rest of that box is completely open. And then you put your queen excluder on, a honey super, let's say, and then you're taking the bottom brood chamber box and putting it up on top with all the rest of the brood. Looks like we lost him. And all that. I don't know what happened. And we're back. Now you're back.
Asked you a question and then bailed out on you, didn't I?
Yeah. So anyway, you take the bottom brood box, all that brood that's in the bottom, and then you put it up on top of the stack. And then you got to go back and cut out all the queen cells, and then it'll finally hatch out. It'll finally cap and hatch. But I never did it that way. And I found that it's like, how do you have all those queen cells up there. That was the one thing I didn't like about it, because you got all that young larvae and brood, and then you brought all your nurse bees up top, and you left nothing in the bottom, and that kind of thing. So I always kept the bottom going and just keep pulling out the cap brood. It made more sense to me.
Okay.
Where if you go in like for me, I do all medium. So I can go down there and you might pull out 5 medium cap brood frames and put it upstairs, and you got plenty of room to do all that. We got another truck driver over here.
Yeah. What's happening?
Not much. You're not waxing frames or whatever right now, are you?
No, I was, but I have to go get more boxes out there. I gotta make. Well, I did the formic treatment. And I'll tell you what, as far as I could tell, they did great. Sorry about the sun. It should move in a minute. So what I did was I put everything I had on the top layer, like you and I talked about this, and I even just put empty boxes up there so they had some place to crawl up to. And so I've got to pull those. Well, I already pulled the empty boxes off when I got the treatment out, but I need the empty boxes to put the frames in to take out there in the morning and then put them back on, because, like I said, privet, the glossy privet is going now, and tallow trees are going. So
Yeah.
I need room.
So you need the
I've already,
empty boxes to put your new frames in.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds like to me you need more boxes.
Yeah, I'm picking those up tomorrow too. I'm actually, I've got a load of mediums. I'm going to go to mediums. I'm going to old man my operation.
There you go.
So that's the plan at least. But what I'm going to do with these frames, these are deep frames that I'm waxing. I'm going to pull up anything I can up above and put in the foundation to, have them go at it and build it up.
So it sounds like you're going to have a good honey year for you.
Well, I've already taken off about 8 buckets. So what's that? 400 pounds or so, or
Mhm.
500 something. I don't know. I can't even do the math. I'm all worked out today. But I still have, I have several colonies. I was shocked. I had several colonies with the frames that I did put on them. They filled them up with honey, and they're capped and everything. So I have to pull that tomorrow and replace them. So I probably have another 300-400 pounds on there, I think.
Now is
So
that
it's pretty good.
deep frames or are you using medium stuff?
No, those are deeps. My mediums I'll be using mediums this summer. I'm going to try to get them to, draw them out.
Right.
We'll see.
So,
We'll see.
so Todd, you got those bipolar bees, I think.
Yeah.
So
Some of
now,
them are.
so you lost a whole bunch of bees. What was it? Just last year, or was it year before?
Last, gosh, when was it? Was it last year?
I think it was the beginning of
Uh,
last year.
no, it was the year before that. No, it was last year. Last February,
Yeah.
I got decimated.
So what did you replace those with?
I just started grafting as much as I could, and then I got some local bees too, and I got a bunch of those queens from Hawaiian Queen Company, those Latshaw queens,
Okay.
and also I got some Oliveris bees too.
So is everything doing good, or certain ones, or are you keeping any track of that?
I'll find out more tomorrow, but the Latshaw queens are exploding, or they've already exploded once. I've had to use my pro nukes and other nukes to make room. But yeah, the Latshaw ones, and actually, not very far behind that are the Oliveris queens. They're really they're really laying it to the floor too. So they make a ton of honey. I think they make more honey than the Latshaw queens right now, at least from what I could tell.
Hey, James.
So that's what I'm doing. It's 91 degrees out here. It's already getting hot. So they'll
Yeah.
probably have fires there pretty soon.
Yeah, hey Todd, I'm glad to hear you say that about the Latshaw Queens. I really am.
Yeah, I had to. Oh crap! I had to do something, and the only thing I could do was buy those Hawaiian queens. And it's not because the last resort. I have been looking at those queens that are thinking about it for a couple years. But I just had the opportunity, and they really produce well. I like them, and they're calm too. But I've had them in there since February, and I've been in those boxes. They're not mean at all. So They're good. Hang on one second. I have to get the gate open. The wind blew it half shut. But yeah, those queens are really good. I'll see how much honey they make. I didn't really pay attention to what their weight was when I pulled it off. I'm saying that the Oliveris queens were producing a lot is because I had honey on top of the top bars. They they put it away everywhere they could find a spot, and the Latshaws weren't doing that. But I know they loaded up their stuff. So how am I gonna get out of here? I swear. These guys that work at the farm, they know I'm going to come in and out of here, and they block every single way for me to get to my bees. Anyway, I might lose you because I'm going to be going down in this little hole. So
You're saying the Latshaws are good honey producers. They're common. They're good honey producers.
well, I don't know about the honey yet, but they're very calm. The Oliveris queens or the Oliveris bees were just killing it. I mean, they were really going. But I got those. Those I got in early August last year. They were the last rounds to come out of Oliveris's operation, and I got them from the commercial guy that I know over here. That uh, he switches his queens out all the time, and he's been using Oliveris for the last few years, I guess. So it's they really they really stacked it in there this year. So they've had what I'm trying to say is they've had a bigger head start than the Latshaws. They're more established. So that's probably the difference. But I'll find out this summer how well the Latshaws produce. We'll see about that. All right, I'm going to mute myself and get all my stuff ready and jump out there real quick. So I'm not opening any boxes or anything. Well, I have to look. I have to peek around real quick.
So did you make it to the yard?
Yep, I'm here. I don't know if you can see it through the window. Bees are flying everywhere. There's thistle growing. The weeds are growing. It's really bad around here. These guys haven't really done anything with the weeds yet. But Charlie, the you'll like to hear this. The blue curls come out of the ground, and it's only May. It's easily 2.5 months ahead of schedule. I don't know what's going on with Mother Nature this year. I mean, we have wild radishes that were on the ground from October all the way up until about a couple weeks ago, and the wild mustard was mixed into that, and then the wild mustard's still going, and monkeys are flying, and I mean it's I don't know what to think of it around here. It's crazy this year.
The next thing, Todd, you're going to get a honey crop here out of this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, finally, I made it through the oranges, but I probably won't have to feed my bees this year.
Well, I think didn't you get a lot more rain out there this year than normal?
Yeah. We got a lot of water in the ground.
You're used to the fact that you actually got rain.
Yeah. But those are California bees, so they're going to be taxed so bad, anyways, Todd.
Well, and they fly around with Prop 65 stickers too. They may cause cancer.
Yeah. Okay. Heaven forbid if they fart, then you'll get taxed for gas.
Yeah, methane. Yeah.
I've got to put those tiny little masks on every bee.
They might have to start paying toll charges too, because they want to charge us per mile in California now to drive. So I don't know how that's going to work.
How do those electric bees work?
Very carefully. If they
Oh,
if they could get plugged into the grid at night, they're efficient. But
there,
otherwise, they're not doing too good.
there you go. I haven't seen you for a while, so I got to rib you a little bit.
Ah, you do know about the company out of Israel that was making robotic bees, and they brought them over here to the almonds. You guys heard
No,
about that? Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I had a person who texted me that article or something. I hadn't heard nothing about it.
yeah. I didn't hear anything about it this year, but last year I think it was they brought a bunch over here. But I never heard what happened. I think they probably flopped. But I don't see how they robotic bees can replace regular honeybees. That's just crazy talk.
I can't see that ever.
Mm-mm. No, no.
When
Oh,
when Todd has a drone layer, you can't assume that it's that's female bees. It might be a drone pretending to lay eggs.
oh, you don't want to go that rabbit. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole with you right now, Philip. We could do that over the phone, but I don't want to. I don't. I'm not going to say a word about that.
Approved by the state of California.
Yeah,
He'll have
I'm not even
he'll
going to
have
say that.
protesters outside his house.
Oh man, no, that's
Too funny.
I can't dip my toe in that pool. There's no way I'm going there. Uh, well, I'm going to hang up now. But if I find something interesting out here, I will jump back on.
Okay, good to see you, Todd.
All right,
See
nice
you
seeing
later,
you guys. I'll talk to
See
you
ya.
guys later.
Yeah.
So how's James doing out in where you're at?
It hasn't been that long.
Alberta. Alberta, that's it.
No, actually, things are going good here. Our bees are booming. So we kind of went from 3 feet of snow to plus 20-degree weather here. So our dandelions are out. The leaves are out. The pussy willows are just about done. I'd say we're over the hump. So I was
Yeah.
actually out there a little bit today, taking a look at them. I've got doubles on a whole pile of them already. So be looking at splitting and making a bunch of nukes here very, very quickly before they hit the trees.
So nothing. Well, you say the snow just got done, so you don't have anything planted, or there's nothing around you planted, I guess.
No, but the hay crops and stuff are starting to come. So, like I say, the dandelions are all up. They're all out, and then of course, like I say, all of the willows and poplar trees and everything like that. So, yeah, we're going great guns. We're probably on our I'm gonna say third, possibly fourth round of hatch out. So, we're doing very, very well here.
That's good. And how many highs are you up to now? Do you know?
Everybody keeps asking me. I don't even count. We got, I don't know. We got 2 of the starter yards out there that are absolutely just packed right full. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year you had one, I think.
it was easy to count last year.
It was one. I guess you got at least about 200
It's
now.
not even funny, but it's funny.
it was funny, So it learned a lot. But no, the everything we got out there right now is just booming. We did 1 round of equalization, and that was it. And we'd grab a frame or 2 and drop in some of the smaller ones. And yeah, like I say, there's a lot of them out there that have already got doubles on them. So I would say we're probably never been, and I don't want to jinx myself, probably never been this good ever.
Yeah. Well,
Watch now a forest fire will come and burn me out or something.
yeah, you've had a lot of natural disasters there too.
So,
But you have made a remarkable comeback, that's for sure. And and I've been watching some of your videos, your shorts and stuff, and the bees are looking good, really looking good a lot. So,
Oh yes, yep.
so
I had
you're
some that
gonna,
came out of the barn with 5 or 6 frames of brood, so
yeah.
that's unusual.
So you're gonna put seconds on, and then what? Make a split with that, and
Oh yeah, we've had seconds on for over a week.
all right. So you're letting her to kind of
Yeah.
go up in the top like that, and then shake all the bees back down, let them come back up through the queen excluder.
Oh, now we'll probably just open them up and split them up. So we'll probably make
Split 'em.
3 or 4 out of each one of them, and then just keep on going. So we're going to fill all our equipment this year.
Yeah, I got what I'm getting at is you're just not going to pick the whole box up. You're going to take frames out then to make
Correct.
splits.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
can pick and choose to put in that split exactly what I want.
Okay. And then and then I guess when it comes honey time, are you leaving? Is it going to be a double deep, or is that just going to be back to singles?
Oh no, I'll put them back to singles.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll put them all back to singles when the honey comes around for sure. So,
Well, that's cool
but
and all that. So that sounds like looks like everything's doing well. You doing any mite treatments at this time or not?
don't have to.
Oh, okay. No,
So I went out. I forget how many shakes I did. I think I quit after like 45 or 50 shakes, and I think we found one mite.
So that process is still working quite well.
Very well. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very well.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good. And all that. So, how's the extraction line? I want to see last year. Didn't you? Yeah, you used it last year, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. We had it all fired up, going great guns there last year. So, yeah, it makes it way better than 12 frames at a time.
Yeah. Living Garden Homestead. Thanks for coming in, and come on back anytime. Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard. Bill's got a show called Bees All Day. Same kind of format. If you ever want to jump on the chat, just click the link. So, but huh?
I was just going to say, I just popped in here. We actually have some company over here, so I just wanted to pop in and say hi to everybody. And then,
Well, I'm glad that you came in, James. Give us an update and everything.
Yeah.
It's good always to hear from you and how everything's going up in your neck of the woods and everything.
so
Hey,
far so good. Next video should be coming out Monday.
Okay.
Hey James,
Yes, sir.
I want you to pace yourself a little bit because I've got to have something to watch whenever it gets hot as hell and I can't go outside. Don't burn yourself out.
There we go. Yeah, no, I'm going to try and get one out probably every 2 weeks. So every week, with us expanding as much as we are and everything that's going on, is just a little bit too much. But I'm going to try and get one out every 2 weeks.
All right.
Cool.
That's cool.
All righty. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Good
Thank
night.
you, James.
All right.
See you. Good to see you.
Looks like everybody's running out on you, Charlie. I'm gonna get out of here too. I got here a little earlier than usual, but I'm gonna keep listening on the YouTube side of it. I would stay on, but when I get inside the house, it gets real sketchy.
Okay.
I might jump back on if things get a little if you get on a topic that I can't, if Bill says something, I got to come on and disagree with it. That's just
That's typical. Yeah. You're a good man, Philip. I don't care what Tom and Melissa say about you. You're a good man.
That's right. That's right. Well, if Tom says it, then you can believe the opposite for sure. Melissa, now that breaks my heart if she's saying something bad about me because I'm a big fan.
We're all big fans of him.
All right, let's if I don't come back on, we'll see you guys later on. It's been fun.
All right. Well,
Have a good weekend, Phil.
Hope everything's good with your mom.
All right, good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody in the chat.
Yeah, we got 66 or so.
Mm.
Tom says he's rotten. Don't lie to him.
Somebody's got to, Tom. You got to uphold your reputation.
So, so anyway, Joe, with that Demaree, you got your brood boxes, your brood frames upstairs like I do.
Yep.
And when it comes to like the honey flow is a little bit lacking right now, or because of weather conditions or whatever. But I was watching Brian there, Castle Hives. He was talking about pulling some frames with some queen cells out of his Demarees, and like 1 or 2 frames out of each hive. That's one of the good things about the Demaree. Your top box turns into a resource hive for you, as long as you don't pull too much out, and it works out quite well as far as expansion, especially with Brian. Here comes
Yeah, I
Mr.
probably won't be
Bate.
doing that. But
Huh?
I probably won't be doing that. But
Well, I think
those
you've
work out that way.
been expanding quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm more than double
Now,
this year so far.
how many hives you up to now? 30?
I think it's 47. I think.
47?
Yeah, from 23, 22 or 23.
The only thing I can say about that, and maybe it depends on how your situation. Hey, Mr. John. Like Brian there said, he pulled 4 frames from 5 hives. So the best frames from 5 hives. So there you go. You can make a split, use a queen cell, and don't have to worry about buying queens, and they can make their own hive by themselves and stuff. And all that. Tom says he just got stung today for the first time, thinking about quitting. So how's things down in Southern Maryland there, Dave?
Pretty good. You went and checked my Demarees today.
Oh yeah,
You got to time those right. I had 1 swarm on me.
really?
Mm-hmm. I caught her. She ended up in one of my swarm traps, but yeah, you gotta make sure you time that right, because there were swarm cells everywhere in that thing.
Down in the bottom box of the Demaree?
Mm-hmm.
Or the top box?
The bottom box. I cut all the ones out of the top box. There were so many bees, they drew out all those frames and then decided to draw swarm cells out.
Well, now down at the bottom box, are you doing like the roving Demaree like I'm doing, or are you doing the standard job?
I did the traditional without drawn comb.
Without drawing comb?
Mm-hmm.
Did it draw any comb for you?
They drew almost every frame out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And how many frames of bees did you leave in the bottom?
2. It was one frame that had the queen on it with uncapped brood and a food frame, and the rest were the other 8 were foundations.
And where was so did she lay everything up, is what you're telling me, and then they started doing queen cells?
She laid up about 5 of the frames because they started backfilling with pollen and nectar on the what they were drawing out. But there was 3 frames. I cut out 8 cells today, and I destroyed 4 that I couldn't get to.
On the 3 original frames?
No, there's 2 original frames, but
right.
the one frame that had all the brood on it, there was like 5 or 6 on that one, and 2 of the other frames that they drew out, there was like 3 or 4 on each of those.
Now, see, you're the second. That guy the 2 guys that took me out to dinner here a couple weeks ago. He had 1 frame with the queen on it, and I guess open brood or something. And he had swarm cells. And now you're the second person that has stated the same thing. I think he had drawn comb in the bottom, but with him being the lack of the amount of brood and whatever, I'm thinking that there's not enough brood pheromones, or maybe they think the queen ain't no good and they want to replace her.
Yeah, see, like I wouldn't say there were swarm. You know, swarm cells are typically in the bottom of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
These were kind of in the middle of the frame. None were at
So
the top.
they're what would you call that, Bill? Not abscond, but swarm cells in the middle of the frame, superseders.
Supersedure cells. If they're in the bottom third, it's swarm cell. Center third is supersedure. Top third is emergency.
Yeah, so probably was like
They didn't like her anymore. They're going to replace her.
Yep, that's a supersedure.
she's one of the better queens I got. I don't know why they don't like her.
No, but what I'm driving at here is that you limited the amount of brood was down in that bottom box.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking because there's brood pheromone that there was minimal of that pheromone. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This queen ain't doing her job because she don't have the right amount of pheromone brood pheromone, and we need to get rid of her.
Yeah, probably.
So I think I'm on track on that. If that's what's happening in your, I would say you need to have at least 3 or 4 frames of brood and food and whatever down there for them. And then you don't have no upper entrance, right?
I did have an upper entrance to let all the drones out. So I took the 2. I wasn't a double deep situation. I took the 2 double deeps. I took a frame of brood with her on it, it was a brand new frame that they drew out and she laid up. So that was like the perfect frame I could leave down there. Mm-hmm. And a frame of almost solid pollen and honey. And I took the 2 double deeps, put them above 2 honey supers that they were working on, and made them 9 frame deeps. So they could, when everything hatched out, they would just backfill it with honey and all that. And then down, I made it a single deep brood chamber in the bottom. And they drew, I'll say probably 9 of the frames out if you count half sides. But then they put swarm cells up. Or put queen cells up. So I'm actually kind of glad I went down there and checked, because that probably would have been a mess. But that hive, she did swarm. I caught her. I put her in a deep box. I put her whole swarm in a deep box, and they've drawn out about 8 frames of that within 3 days. And I checked her today too, and because I was trying to figure out did I get free bees or was it one of my queens that swarmed, because I didn't know. And yeah, sure enough, it was her, and she's already got about a frame laid up in the swarm box.
Yeah.
That was probably the only problem I had with my 3 Demarees that I did. I won't say it's a problem. It was just probably
it's just
normal. I had one queen that's on one of the Demarees, or one of the Demarees had 14 frames of brood, and when I did the Demaree on them, I think they cannibalized a lot of the eggs that were in there that I put on the top, and that cut her down, or that cut that one down to probably, I think, 9 frames of brood instead of 14. But then they also did the same thing, because there's so many bees. They drew out the whole bottom box too. I did the same thing with those. Left 2 down and put just foundations. And they didn't. The other 2 Demarees that I did not draw cells in the bottom box. Just that one queen, that one hive did.
Okay.
So maybe just something, yeah. Which I don't know. Like, I know you're saying maybe they're trying to supersede her. I'm just trying to think. She was, out of the 3, her hive's the best one. So I don't know why. Maybe it is just a lack of pheromones at that time.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I found it, where I'm bringing the brood up and all that. That was something that I kind of, everybody kept saying, do it like what you said to do it. And I'm like, well, why do you want all them queen cells up there? I don't want all that. And then I got to thinking, well, why not I just bring up the cat brood and leave her down there and just keep letting her lay, and it always just worked better for me that way.
Mhm.
And then another thing with my, when I'm manipulating, sometimes sometimes I have to have, off to the side, I'll have a box of open fresh comb. I might need to pull some frames out and leave them out of the hive, or I might, sometimes I'll go through a hive where I'll Demaree it, and it might be a frame that's got full of pollen. And for me, we're in an area where we got plenty of pollen all the time, and it seems like you get a lot of pollen frames, and it's like you're just wasting my space in the hive. And I'll call them frames out of the hive, and that's when I'll replace them with drawn comb. And so it's kind of like you're kind of rearranging everything all the time. You have to kind of, it's not a sort of a cut and dry thing. And but like I say, it seems to be working for me and all that. I put some honey supers, like I said earlier, on 9 of my hives yesterday, so we're getting some honey in.
Yeah, the Demarees, all the 3 that I did, I've done 5 in total. I just did 2 this week because some of my other hives are way further along than I thought they were. I got double honey supers on the Demarees, along with double deeps on top of those with a single brood chamber on the bottom, and they've drawn out. These were all fresh foundation honey supers because I didn't have any mediums drawn out. They've drawn out about 80% and filled, and are starting to cap those off.
Really?
All 3 of them.
Nice.
And one of them is starting to backfill the top 2 9-frame deeps that I put up there. And the other ones are the broods hatching out.
You must have a better flow down where you're at than I do, because I don't see them capping off anything.
Yeah, I have one of the hives that I didn't Demaree has almost completely capped a whole honey super. And I'm just giving them a couple more days to finish it, and I'm gonna go pull it, and that'll be my first extraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it depends on where you're located at and what's around you.
Yeah.
And
I got a ton of I think it's blackberry briars. They are everywhere. I didn't realize I had them so much down here. They are everywhere.
That's a lot of honey right there.
So
Blackberry.
Yeah, as soon as you drive it, like when you get out onto the main roads and you're just driving down the road, you just see blackberry briars everywhere, all the way to like Leonardtown, everywhere.
Yeah, I've been to Leonardtown. Yeah, well, see, down your way, that's a common thing, I guess you would call it. Where up our way, it's kind of rarity. We got more of a tree situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, everything down here is going pretty good. I mean, the nukes that I started, I've actually they're in double deeps, and I put a super on top of those. They're just expanding. Like, I think they're expanding way faster than I thought they would have.
mm-hmm.
They've drawn out second deep about 6 to 7 frames, I believe. So I just went ahead and threw a honey super on them, and if they get up there, they get up there.
Yeah, like I say, my nukes here, they're going. I mean, they're doing pretty good, and the bigger hives are pulling in the honey, and the other ones that I'm growing, I added a super here about a week ago or more of drawn comb to one of my hive number 2s, which was a new fresh queen. She's going at it pretty good. And then I'll probably add another box. I don't know. I might add 2 more boxes. And that way I'll have 20 frames, and then I'll switch her over to 10 frame and do that. And then my nukes, I'll just keep adding. Some of them I got 2 boxes. Some of them are 2 mediums. but the top boxes, I'm trying to get them to draw the wax out and stuff like that. I put some bee bites on each one of those, like a quarter bee bite on each one to help them, get through the times and all that.
So what would y'all's opinion be on? I've already done it, and I thought about it. I went ahead and put a queen excluder over the top super or the first deep.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a single deep brood chamber deep and a honey super over the queen excluder. Is that kind of a common thing, or
You're doing a single brood deep chamber and then a queen excluder, and then you're putting your honey supers and then your deep on top of that?
Well, I have a one deep, and it was a deep that they pretty much drew out, and she laid up, but I just went ahead and put her in the bottom box with a queen excluder,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of guess let them backfill it. I don't know. I mean, is that kind of a common thing, or do you usually just put a queen excluder over top of the double deeps?
Well, I don't really run double deeps, and
Oh,
I mean, I'm more. I do two mediums where the brood chamber is, which equals to I'll say a deep, and then it's queen excluder, and then I'll say honey supers, and then I bring up
Right.
my medium frames upstairs to one medium box. Or like with you, I'd have a deep queen excluder, let's say one or two honey supers, and then a deep box up on top.
Yeah.
And now Joe here is doing it that way, right, Joe?
Yep. Yeah. Deep excluder, super deep.
And then you just keep adding honey supers. Now, one thing I read about it in ABJ, and I've experienced it, and I watched it, whether to go through all the extra work to under super with an open honey super, and then put the one that was got full up on top, or just leave the one that's full on the bottom and put a new fresh one on top. And the article magazine said it really didn't matter much, as they was about equal, and I found the same thing. The main thing that I find is if you put the empty super on top of the full one, then when you go back, you don't have to fool with that bottom one. You just crack the box and pick it up to see how much weight it is. And if it's pretty heavy, and it's like, okay, let's put another super on. That's what I did yesterday. As I went down the line, I lifted them up and I'm like, oh, that one's super heavy. I mean, we definitely need a box here. And the other one's like, man, it's it's about half to 3/4 full. It's like it could go for a while, but it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get back in here. Let's go ahead and put a super on just for the heck of it. Then the other one's is like, oh, it's feather light. It's like it doesn't need anything, because now those weren't Demaree either. Those type of hives were small hives that I've been rebuilding since they didn't get through the winter time. So that's kind of how it works for me.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking. Oh, go ahead.
I generally under super, so whenever if you want to remove that top box, just throw in an escape board or a fume board and leave the bottom one there and just take the top one. That's why I usually under super that way.
It seemed like for me, I don't, like you're saying, David, you're saying you're getting a box full of honey that's capped. I don't normally see that until in June, and it's pretty much all I just keep adding, and they'll finally fill everything.
Right.
The one thing I do find is I think you might find this, is that the bees seem to our understanding they're going to fill that first box above the queen excluder. Well, sorta, but they actually kind of like to go to the highest point and then fill back down the stack of boxes.
So that hive that almost has a medium completely capped. When I say completely capped, it's like it's 10 frames, and it's like the two outer ones they are still working on, and like it's like a third of the bottom of the medium frames they haven't completely capped because they're capping down, and that's why I'm gonna give them a few more days to try and finish it out. But when I Demaree them, and I put another honey super on top of the brood chamber that was foundation, and I put that one that's almost capped on top of that one, and then put the Demaree brood up top above that.
Like Doug up in Saskatchewan there, he doesn't own her super. Of course, he's got 300 commercial hives. I get that. I will have to say one thing. Now, next time I go out to check hives, I'm gonna have to get my hive lifter out. You know, in order if I'm gonna when I'm doing a Demaree, I'm gonna have to get the hive lifter out in order to get down into the brood chamber. She's getting heavy.
Yeah.
Because here lately it's just only been maybe a super and a brood box. Now they're going to have like 2 supers and stuff, and that's the beauty of the demo or the hive lifter is to be able to pick those units up, boxes up as a unit and back it away, and you don't have as much bee disturbance and all.
All right, I am heading out. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
All right, Joe. Good to see you, Chief.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, so my thinking with the putting the queen excluder over the deep was for these nukes at least. It seems like they're going really fast. They're drawing out a lot of frames, and if I can get a honey crop off of them, cool. And then I just extract it and put it back on top of them and let them use that deep for getting ready for winter. Letting the queen lay it up, because if you extract it and then let her lay up like 10 frames of completely open cells, they should explode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But hopefully not too much.
Well, yeah, and yeah, Doug out the queen or that hive lifter is a great back saver.
Can't hear you, Charlie. You talking?
Am I okay? Hear me now? That was a great back
Can't
saver.
hear you, Charlie.
Somebody's got their.
Hold on, let me be right
Turn it,
back.
okay. Take the YouTube off. Hear me now? He's back.
Whoop.
Yep, there you go.
Yep, something happened. I couldn't hear you. I saw your lips moving, and I was like, is he talking? Did he mute himself?
Well, I heard some back feedback. I was wondering whether you had your YouTube on or something.
I did. I usually have the chat up, but I haven't muted.
But anyway, like I say, I'm gonna have to use my hive lifter the next time. But hopefully, we can get some decent honey crop in and all. And the bees are growing on some of the hives that I'm, trying to raise back. Like I say, the next biggest thing for me is to get some mating boxes populated and do some grafting here in the next week or so.
Yeah, I really wanted to get grafting started, but it seems like it's going to rain every day this week. And it's like low in the 40s and 50s down here.
Yeah. I got my cell builder stock, it's all cap brood. I wanted, to get it hatched out and stuff. I figured 10 days, I have the majority of it hatched out, and that's about the time, all this rain or whatever is going to start to come in.
Yeah, I kind of hope we get that rain.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. We need the rain for the hay crop here.
Yeah,
That's
we need it bad too.
Yeah, I think when I looked at the weather yesterday, when I looked at the weather yesterday, it was like, I think it was like Wednesday and Friday it wasn't raining. Every other day it was raining. This week, it may have changed.
The way they kind of explained it here, tomorrow it might rain after lunch sometime, and then Sunday is good, and then like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday is going to be rainy. Now they say it might be storms or showers. I'm not sure it's going to be an all statewide type of thing. But like to talk about the temperature, you look out in Garrett County out there where Sandy is and Icy Mountain Honey, you know, they're still getting cold weather out that way. Real cold weather. And all.
It's like today, I think the high was 69 down here.
It was like 60-ish here. At least that's what it felt like. And I had a sweat jacket on. The wind was a blowing and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, just crazy stuff. And all that.
There was a question I did want to ask. I've been hatching some of these queens have been popping up in these Demarees and some of my other hives that I've just been harvesting.
You mean the chorus queen cells and stuff?
Yeah. How do y'all normally introduce your virgins? Do y'all just drop them right in, or
I put the
cells?
cell in there and let her hatch out naturally.
Yep, that's one way to do it.
That's the highest, most acceptable way by the bees.
Yep.
that
I
what
got
you're
asked
doing?
this question today on Facebook. How do you introduce a virgin into the hive? You can spray the hive with sugar water or peppermint oil in the water and spray her with a little bit and just let her walk right in. Until they get everything cleaned up, they will ignore her. That is provided there is no capped brood or no open brood in the hive and no other queen in the hive.
So I've been
That's another way to do it.
I've been having not that great acceptance with releasing virgins in straight away.
Yeah, that's my problem last year. I learned that the hard way too.
So I've started what's up, Norman? I started putting them in cages with a marshmallow and letting them slowly chew them out. Now that has been a lot better. I haven't had no killed virgins after that.
Well, now Eddie's been on here from down in Louisiana. He does a lot of virgin queen, and he puts them in a small nuke, and that nuke was queenless for 6 to 7 days, and then he cages that queen and kind of releases her after 6 to 7 days. Make sure there's no queen cells, and they're quote hopelessly queenless.
Mm.
And his acceptance rate is higher. I've done it recently with the peppermint oil with sugar water spray. I sprayed everybody down with it, and I want to try to do that experiment with 1 or 2 of those queens to do that and see how that works. But the virgins are pretty hard to get accepted.
I'm noticing that, and I felt so bad with because I have 9 of them 5-frame nukes, and I put a lot of them girls to death, and it is kind of obnoxious because I go out there 5 or 6 days later and she's not there, and then I got to start the process all over. Luckily, I'm having every week I'm having about 10 to 15 cells hatching in the incubator, so I'm kind of having replacements.
Well, go put that cell in there a day and a half before she hatches out of the incubator.
So that's another thing too. Some of the some of the cells are duds. I'm noticing.
Yeah,
I think that may be beekeeper error, like me cutting them out and doing something. But I've had some cell. I probably
are these grafted cells or are these cells that you cut out?
Cutouts.
Well, just cut them out and then take your finger and make an indentation with your finger in the comb and in that for that nuke, and try to put it close to where the brood's at if you got a brood frame. So if it gets chilly at night,
right,
then the bees will cluster around that brood and keep that cell warm. And then and then when you put it on there, then you come up alongside of it with the comb and just kind of squeeze the comb up towards that cell, and as long as it holds it in place, and then the bees will weld that cell in place.
Yeah, it's the I'm thinking, I know what you're saying, Good. I'm thinking it's some of the queens are just dying in the cells, and they're not hatching. They're not hatching in the incubator. That's what I'm noticing, because like I'll have a batch that'll hatch out, and then I'll wait 3 or 4 days, and there's like 2 or 3 of them that haven't hatched out, and I'll go in there, and it's a dead larva in the cell.
Yeah,
and,
you'll have that.
and that's why I want to take the chance of just them hatching out and then introducing the virgin, than putting a cell in there and it never hatch. You know.
Well, you can always put a couple cells in there.
Yeah, that too.
I've heard
Increase
them
the
do
odds.
that. You know, give them the odds. I've heard them do. A lot of people do that too, and all that. So, you know, it's one of them things. And it's like I grafted last year, and I was trying to pull the cups off the bar, and it was like a little peck. I pecked that bar in order, you know, and that little bit of a shock dropped that queen out of that jelly, and she wasn't no darn good. You know, I lost more because of beekeeper error.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be super, super gentle with these things. You can't let them bounce, drop, whatever. And,
Yeah, I've come to that conclusion too. And somebody asked me on my YouTube channel, why don't you just shake all the bees off when you cut them out? And I'm like, well, I had one queen hatch with no wings, and I had to put her down. So that, I think, if I had shook any of the frames, it would have messed any of the queens up in those cells.
now here's Mark. He's Mr. Queen himself. Pick up frames with mostly cat brood, and there is little larva. You can sprinkle powdered sugar on the larva to save time. I don't quite understand that, Mark. What's the idea behind that?
Cat brood, and there's little larvae you can sprinkle with sugar. Well, is that to get them to clean the cells out and like actually cannibalize the larva and stuff? So then there's less things for them to pull queen cells off. Maybe.
Mm. I don't know. Not quite sure what he's trying to convey there.
Russell, in the incubator, I do set the cut cells out in the cell protector, and then I put them in a Nico cage, and let them hatch out in the Nico cage. But I've never used a cell protector in a hive because I don't introduce cells into the boxes.
He's saying put the sugar on there and it makes the hive hopelessly queenless.
Yeah, so the sugar gets down into the cells, and then they clean they kill the larva and clean the cell out, so it kills all the little.
Okay, I never heard of that.
I think I did hear about that. That's probably why I knew about it. I heard about it from somebody.
Norman, if you're trying to talk, you're muted or something.
Oh yeah, he's muted.
We can't hear you. Try it again. Nope. No mic.
Can you hear me now?
How about now?
Yeah.
There we go. I was just going to say, yes, this is exactly what I learned today, is what you just said.
What's that?
The powdered sugar?
And by the way, hi, guys. No, well, not powdered sugar, but sugar. Last week, for whatever reason, I thought I was being clever. I sprayed all the cells that I was about to graft into with really dilute sugar water. Just a little spritz, because I wanted to attract, kind of bees to the cups, right? Disaster. Zero take.
So now you sprayed the frames that you were going to graft out of?
Well, I was just gonna I got the bar and the cups and all that, and I just gave it all a little spritz with a 1 to 2 sugar water, so just really super thin.
Cups.
Yeah, into the cream grafting cups.
Okay.
And on the frame, I was just thinking that was going to be clever and it would attract bees, right? No,
And you did the grafting. You did the grafting, right?
And then I did the grafting, and yeah, I did the grafting like I've done it for the last few weeks, and I've had decent enough success. This time, zero. So as soon as sugar's involved in the situation, they're going to clear out the larva.
Probably made the jelly too acidic for the larva, or would it be acidic?
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, now you were having good times. We told you to, what was it? Put a double screen board.
Yeah.
On that. What was that? Double screen board. I forget what you were doing. You were using a queen excluder. The queen was below or above?
We like to call it the Anne Frank.
The what?
We lock her in the attic.
Okay, you put her in the attic. Well, I didn't get that joke.
But the Jewish girl during World War II who had to hide in the attic, and they wrote she had the little diary and all that. She was
they made a movie or they made a book about
that. There's a whole thing about it, and there's like a museum and all that. But yeah, so anyways, they call it the Anne Frank. I think it's been long enough we can start using that vernacular.
Yeah, Tom wants to wonder if it messes with the pH.
That's what I was getting at. Does it mess with the pH of like the jelly that's in there?
What, the powdered sugar?
No, Norman sprayed actual sugar water onto the grafted cells.
I don't know.
Well, no, I sprayed it onto the cells and then I grafted into the cells.
Yeah, the JZBZ cups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to attract bees to the cups. So what I figure what happened is I don't think it's a pH issue, because if it was a pH issue and it was right, then the right bees would show up and they would sort it out. I think it was sugar, and I attracted the wrong bees. So now I'm attracting bees that are chasing sugar and not trying to, they're not chasing after larvae. So like the nurse bees weren't attracted to it. It was, more mature bees were attracted.
Foragers, I guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe foragers or, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
That's I think what DC said is what I think too. Maybe they needed to clean the cups out. They felt it wasn't a sanitized cup at that point.
That might be it too.
You want to know what the research says on that? Yes, sugar water changes the pH of the environment in the JZBZ cups once introduced, moving it away from the optimal acid range required by queen larvae. While royal jelly, the natural food of the larva, is acidic, pH 3.4 to 4.5, plain sugar syrup tends to be more neutral to basic, disrupting the delicate pH balance of the cell.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I figured it may have.
Okay.
pH.
Spraying sugar water on the grafting cups is not good.
Yes. That's the takeaway of this. Don't do that.
I think it's best.
That's the takeaway. Don't do that.
I think it's best to just do the grafting and let the bees take care of it.
Yeah.
I used to think, I thought, maybe I'd get them a head start, and I would really get them to draw the cells out if I grafted, and then, if I took the cups and I stuck them in like wax just to get the rim of the cup waxed to get them to draw it out. And then I watched, I think it was Ryan Williamson. He said he tried that. He said, just leave them be. Just let the cups be, and they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
What's that? The plastic cup, David?
Yeah. So the JZBZ cups, you just take them and like dip just the rim in it in melted wax just to get a wax coating around there, and then put the graft in there, or put the larva in there, and that would give them a head start. Be like, hey, let's start drawing this out. But no,
As long as you don't take the wax too deep in that cup.
Yeah.
So DC's thought on here about yogurt. Yes, plain yogurt mixed 1-to-1 with water can be used to prime grafted cups to attract nurse bees and prevent larvae from drying out. It also serves as a substitute for royal jelly, with casein potentially providing protein, though it is not a direct nutritional equivalent to royal jelly. So it can be used in a pinch if you have to use it. So DC's suggestion, his idea, or what he's seen somebody else do does work, and it can be done. But I wouldn't do it on the regular. I would do it in an emergency situation where you had to have something for the larva to eat to get it through a dry spell.
I could see that, because like my impression of royal jelly, it does seem very dairy-esque to me. So I could
All
see.
I can tell you is when I was down there at Hardeman's Apiary, and of course now they're doing wet grafting, I guess you'd call it, where they would go and get some cells, tear them open, get that royal jelly out of them cells, put it in a little glass container, pour a little bit of tap water in there, mix it up, and then they had it reminded me of like the old big fat pencils that you got in first grade, but it didn't have no lead in it. It was just a rounded tip on it. And she would take that thing, go dip it in, out, and then go in to the cup, one to the cup, and that droplet would be at the end of that point of that piece of wood, and that droplet would stay in each one of them cups. And then they would go in there with their more of a homemade German tool and pick that larvae up and then lay that thing into that wet cup.
That makes total sense, because if you got like a German one, like you don't have the pushy offy bit.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did notice with the sugar water, like just a little bit of sugar, like just a smattering of sugar water in the bottom of the cups. Oh, the larva just slid right off the tool. It was like, I picked it up, I put it in, and I almost didn't even have to use the plunger to push the larva off. Like just having something in the cup to prime it. It's like grafting. It's like.
The only problem with that is
sugar water changes the pH.
Well, you're right. But I'm just saying that the liquid made it nice. But if you have the proper liquid,
yeah,
it would be nicer.
But
so the whole thing about this, the larva, the royal jelly, and everything, and the reason everybody keeps talking about the pH level with the sugar water is they are so sensitive to pH levels that's why it's at a level where it needs to be when you use either the yogurt mixed with a little bit of water or the royal jelly. And if you're going to use the German tool, and that's basically what is called wet grafting, and that German tool doesn't pick up that royal jelly from the cell that larva's in. When you prime that cell, you want just a small drop of that royal jelly in that cup from out of that syringe, and then you lay that larva in that cup in the same position you found it in other words, the same side of the larva up that was up in the actual cell you took it out of. If you flip it over, they will drown. Because they condition themselves to breathe through the side that's up, and if you flip it, they're going to breathe the royal jelly. They're going to drown. They can't recondition themselves fast enough to breathe out of the other side.
Yep. Well, Norman, you'll have to take and either find some royal jelly out of some cups and use that to prime. Are you using the Chinese grafting tool then?
Yeah, I'm fine with using the Chinese grafting tool. I have, I get a result, and it's good enough. It's just I just screwed up my last round with the sugar. I'm just saying, as I was doing the operation, oh, it was so slick. I just bombed 30, no time at all. Just boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Sometimes when you got a dry cup and there's not enough royal jelly in the bottom of the cell you're pulling out of, sometimes the larva likes to stick to the grafting tool instead of just rolling off.
Well, right. Well, there was still, it was still in the cup, but but you take it to the next level. If you have a liquid in the receiver cup, it just pops, it just floats off. It's like nothing. You don't even need to push it. It's just like just that and a little wiggle, and it's off.
Yeah, but I'll say this, Norman, if you're using the right fluid in your receiving cup,
They won't
you
all
might
die.
see your take go up. Which means
Well,
you're going
there's
to
one
have
thing about it.
more.
If you're grafting a frame and it's doesn't have that much jelly in it, you got a food problem in that hive. You need to be feeding to get that jelly up to par.
Yeah.
Nutrition pollen.
Yeah, you can buy royal jelly in a vial and get a micro syringe with a blunt end on it and draw it up out of that vial as long as you have that vial warm. It can't be cold. It's got to be kept in a refrigerator or it'll go bad. So you warm it up and you draw 0.5 out of it or 0.05 out of it, which is very little bit in that syringe and just one little drop in each cup.
So I got a question. I got another question for you then, Bill. So royal jelly, does it go bad?
Oh yeah.
So it is very milky, because that's the thing. Like I had all these cells where and what Charlie was talking about, you knock the larva down and they pretty much just die. So and I was transporting some that were too young, and it's like boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom in the car. All the larvae dropped down. So then there was all this. I ended up with all this royal jelly, and the larvae were on the bottom of the cells. So I couldn't, they died. But as I picked through it, it's like I got all this royal jelly, but it just doesn't quite smell that appealing. So it's bad.
I've noticed some of the royal jelly. If I think even in a hive of royal jelly, it goes to a gelatinous state, like a clear gel.
Yeah.
As the cell ages and when the queen hatches out, then they come and clean it out. It doesn't stay that milky white for it probably at least.
No, and it will change color. The royal jelly will change color, and DC's right. It does change color, but you got to remember: is it going bad when it changes color, or is it still good when it changes color? I'll leave that one for you to research.
Well, what I ended up with,
I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm going to make you do some homework.
What I ended up with was it was still white and creamy, but it would be like it was almost like a cheese. It would crack in the cell, like it just dried up.
And DC, you're right on your colors. You're right on par.
Yeah. So the ones that I hatch in the incubator, I've noticed that I don't think it would go bad to a certain point, but when it starts changing to that jelly, not like the white, it's more of a clear kind of a clear gel, and it turns a little hard. The queens will still eat it, because if the queens hatch in the middle of the night, they'll go down. Then they'll go back up in the cell and finish everything off that's in the cell.
Yeah, that little divot up into that JZB cell, there'll be a glob of stuff, and they'll get back up in there and eat it, and then they get caught and they can't get back down.
Yeah, because their wings are still wet and they fold up on them.
Mm-hmm.
So why does it have a slight yellow or golden tint to it?
Pollen.
There you go. What do they?
Was that right?
What do they make royal jelly out of?
Pollen.
And what else?
Nectar.
There you go.
So it's reverting back to its pollen state.
Yes, exactly. And when you're grafting, if you're using a Chinese tool, what do they tell you to do with it if the tool starts to get dry? Put it in your mouth.
Or dip it in warm water or something.
Yeah, if you put it in your mouth, it stays at 98 degrees, right? Because your body's 98 degrees at least. It's warm and it's got liquid on it, and it stays flexible in your mouth. If you put it in water, tap water, what's the pH of tap water?
I could dry it out.
7.5. 7 to 7.5, right? There you go. It's changing the pH on the tool itself as well, because you can't ever get all that water off of it.
Was your saliva not as acidic?
What's pH in your body?
7.4.
I think we're a little acidic, aren't we? We're like 6 something.
Yeah, you're in the 6s.
Your mouth would be even more acidic because your saliva is slightly acidic. Like you start breaking down food in your mouth. So it's probably, I'm guessing, I'm going to say 5.4.
There's a homework project for you. Another one.
All right, fair enough, Bill. I owe you.
The other thing is, if that tool is dirty and you put it in your mouth, you're cleaning it with your tongue.
Yep.
All right. It's going to have royal jelly on it. It's going to have larvae on it. You're cleaning it before you use it, but you're keeping it. Tom, yeah, you can use to pull the stuff out from between your teeth too if it's thin enough.
Yeah, just use the
Like cloth.
Midnight.
There's a lot more to queen rearing, and Mark can tell you this. There's a lot more to queen rearing than people actually research to find out before they start.
Yeah. I'm definitely.
Well, I find with the Chinese grafting tool, I like to suck on it. And like you say, it keeps it warm, but I try to make it wrap around my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And that way that you'll form that tongue on an angle like that. So when it goes down there, it's almost
You mold it.
molded to that curvature.
Yeah. And if you put it in and you extend it and you put the tool part between your teeth, like your eye teeth right here, there's a natural curve on your eye teeth. And you flatten it out with your eye teeth and that natural curve. And then when you let go of it, it comes back in. But when you extend it, it's got that curve that you've created.
I like it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try some of the Duck River honey grafting. I'm going to do the grafting in the car on the steering wheel.
No, Tom, the larva doesn't eat steak.
Steak bits left in your teeth.
You know what I do for it? It's like I when I'm up grafting, I'm using an SUV. It's like I point the car into the sun. The doors are closed. The rear hatch is open. I'm sitting on a stool behind the car, leaning into the car. So it's all like this nice. It's like a glove box, and all this warm air is just kind of filtering down towards me. So I'm not like retardedly hot in a car, like, because that's the thing, like you're trying to get 95, and if you're in a car, it's like it can be 100 like that, right?
Yeah, see, it's over here, it's like we're still in the 60s right now, and I haven't I've been trying to get a good day to do grass, but it's either rain or I can't get to them, or it's cold. And there's the only day the only thing I can think of is I'm gonna back the car over to the yard and just do the grass on the steering wheel and then run them back out.
You know how to beat that, right? You know how to beat the temperature, right?
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
They take and get an office light, a desk light like you'd use in an office.
Desk lamp.
Put a 100-watt bulb in it. Okay.
Mm.
Get you a grafting sand. Put that light over top of your frame. Take a hot towel, lay on the grafting stand, set your frame on it. Take that towel and roll it over top of the frame. Make sure the towel's moist, and it'll keep everything underneath of it moist because the heat above it, that moisture will go into the frame.
Right, and then when you want to do the grass, just pull the towel down.
And then you just put your towel up, or you lift the corner of it up. You're still keeping the rest of your frame warm, and you graft in this area, and you close it, and you lift the other side up, and you graft in that area. Then when you want to graft in the middle, you flip the whole thing up, and you still got the heat coming down out of the light.
Right.
And you can see better because it's a 100-watt light bulb.
Yeah, I got a headlamp, like a three LED lamp. That's what I did last year. I could not see in those cells until I had to get a headlamp to even see what was going on in those, to start doing the graphs.
The only thing I do is I got my little LED light in my hand. And I can sit there and do like that to make that thing glisten.
Right.
And then if you're going to do it in your car, I know some folks will put a tarp or something over top of the windows to get the light out because they like to be dark. You can see it better in more of a dark.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah.
Now,
And I'll bring it in the house where it's the kitchen, and it's a pretty good sized kitchen where I don't turn the lights on. You might have some window light coming in, but it's sort of shady, I'll call it. And I can see everything because I got natural light coming through the windows, but it ain't bright. And I can do that LED light with nice bright with good batteries, and it'll make that larvae glisten.
Yeah,
And
put
you
on some music. They love it. Yeah.
And you can get in there and scoop it up.
now, here's the pitch. I'm not going to patent it, but if Man Lake or whoever makes the Chinese grafting tools is listening, put a little LED light on the Chinese grafting tool. Just point straight down into the cell.
Well, I got that.
You get a good headlamp.
I got that there set of jeweler's helmet, with a little light in the front.
Right.
That little light doesn't mount to doodly do.
No, you need a Milwaukee headlamp, like super bright.
That's what I got.
$100.
I can just give me that little flashlight, and I can position that light in there and make it the way I want it, and I can pick that larvae right up out of there.
I look like a fucking alien when I'm, excuse my language, when I'm grafting. I got the Chinese one with the adjustable lenses, with the 2 times, with the light that's supposed to be here with the flip up lens. I got that going on, and then I forget about that light, and I got a Milwaukee headlamp on top of that. Fired it to the floor.
When you say that,
I
there was
see everything, man. It's awesome.
There was a girl that made a video, and she goes, "You want to know what kind of autism I got?" And then she looks at the camera, and she's got these Coke bottles on that her eyes are as big as dinner plates. And she goes, "I like to take things apart." And I'm like, man, the sun hits her at the right angle, she is done.
Yep.
Gigantic Coke bottles.
No, when I'm looking at larvae, they're like this.
What's the magnification on or what?
Oh, she could see the next universe, I can tell you that.
Well, that's like I watch a guy, and he's a watchmaker, and he's got these, you think, oh, I could see that and everything. But what you have to realize is there's this huge camera lens there that is filming, what he's doing under microscopic, lens. And it's like, it makes it look like it's the bolt's that big. Well, it ain't that big, because he'll get it out of the lens and hold it in his finger, and all you can see is a speck. And that's one of the screws inside that thing. I'm like, I don't think I would want to do that hobby.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Takes patience.
Yeah.
No, I think as far as micro as I can go, I think queen grafting, that's pretty much me up against my personal wall as far as dealing with tiny things. That's as fiddly as I could possibly get.
I've debated getting the Nico queen grafting thing and just drop the queen in there and let her lay all the cups up. And just pull them out, put them in the cell.
It don't work as well as you think it does.
Nope, it doesn't.
Yeah. And as it fails, it's 1,000 eggs a day.
Yeah.
That's the cost.
Yep.
Get 100 cups or 1,000 eggs.
Yeah, but you won't get it in a day. She won't lay it. She won't lay it up in the first day.
Nope.
Hey,
Well, she
Matt.
might, but she won't.
And unless it's out where my experience with it, I tried it one spring. Unless it's out where the rest of the hive can get to it to clean it, she's not going to touch it.
Maybe put it in there a day ahead of time or something.
You put it in, you let them clean it, and then you move it, take it out, put it in whatever hive you want grafted from, but let a hive clean it for her.
There it is, Doug. One queen and 10 melee
in it.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like I had one queen I put in a Nico cage, and it's like it took her 3 days to start laying, and then all of a sudden she she laid it up, and it was like 4 and 7 eggs per cell
Yep.
over the next 24. Like it's basically the day before, nothing. The next day, like 7 eggs in cells. She just laid like just.
I don't know, Dave. Just get yourself the grafting tool out. In about I found the Chinese grafting tool in 10 minutes. I'm grafting. I'm like, is this all there is to it? Yep. And then you go out there in your yards, one of them, let's say one of your nukes or whatever, pull up a frame and you see it full of, if you hit it just right where it's just jelly. And I'm like, where's the eggs at? If you can't see not the eggs, but the larvae and that jelly floating in the jelly, perfect. Put your grafting frame eyes on, and there's the larvae in there, perfect age. Scoop it up out of that good jelly. Make sure if you want to graft off of this one hive, make sure you kind of feed them and whatever. Give them plenty of that nutrition coming in. You will have all kinds of nice, thick jelly in there. That's the key to it, is getting plenty of jelly in that. And when I'm starting to graft, I mean, I got the Chinese grafting tool hanging out of my mouth, as I'm, sucking on it and getting it warm and lubricating it up, because your saliva will make that jelly stick to it better. All that stuff. It just, and then like covering up your grafting frames, when you're putting in you use a rag to cover up to mark your spot for the next cup. And then that rags should keep that larvae warm and moist. I take a little towel, or not a hand towel, but like a dishcloth. It's real thin cotton. Put some water on it, and I used to try to get warm water. I'm like, forget it. Just wet that thing up, rinse out the extra water where it's damp, stick it in the microwave for so many seconds and get it warm. And then you got, it keeps it nice and warm, moist.
Right.
And marks your spot, and you just keep going up through there and grafting.
Yeah, definitely good. I want to try and do it this week. I know none of the weather doesn't look good. I have to pick a day and do it, but need to get them started at some point.
Have you got a queen rearing chart or anything? Have you got any of that stuff information?
No, I kind of just followed the whole Bob Benny thing. He just says.
No, I'm talking about the dates and times and all that stuff.
Well, that's what the video he did on queen rearing. He goes over the dates and the times throughout the video. I just kind of followed that. I don't have a quick jump chart,
Right.
Or quick look chart.
Copy. All right, I'm going to put this in the thing, and you've taken your cursor and copy it. It's a place to go. It's a free. All you do is plug in the day you graft, and it gives you the whole rundown.
Yeah.
It's right there. It is. Camelugs. And if you'll copy that link, you can go to that link, plug in your grafting date, and it'll give you a complete readout on paper of when everything happens and everything.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna save that.
Yeah, copy it and save it and go to the website, and then save it on your browser.
Oh, that's nifty.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Well, it just makes it so much easier. You plug it in, it tells you what date you need to do this, you need to do that. And you can, if you're grafting one week and grafting the next week, then you can have your 2 paper charts, and it tells you what's going on. Keeps you on schedule. A lot of times for me, it's like, okay, I want to graft on a Monday. So I'm taking my cells out on Saturday, putting them in the incubator. And then the following week, I want to put my cells in, I think on a Saturday or a Thursday or something like that. So they used to have another place in Pennsylvania that had one. It was some guy did it in a club, but then they must have got changed out of the club and they took that thing down. I'm like, I finally found that one, and that one adheres to what everybody talks about. Well, it's capped on the day 9. Well, yeah, if you count the first day of eggs. But my question or challenge to anybody is, I want you to tell me how old that egg is. Is it 2 hours old, or is it a day old? Nobody can say that. So far as the egg stage, doesn't matter. It's when you graft is what matters. That's day 1.
Day 1.
Yeah.
And it's easier to count that way. Go 1 through 6, and then start over again. And then the day you put that cell, like if I graft on this past Friday, or not Friday, Monday, it's capped on a Saturday, and the following Saturday is day 16. So you want to move the cells to the mating boxes on a Thursday. You can play with the dates that you graft in order to make the other dates that you need to get in there to get all this done suit your schedule.
Right.
It's what I'm getting at. It's what it's like, do you want to work it on a Sunday, or do you want to, or your day off on a Saturday?
And then you just backdate it.
You sit there and play with that chart, and it tells you how to do it.
Yep.
Well, guys, it's almost 10:30. I'm going to go ahead and shut the chat down, and anybody wants to jump in, now's the time. So I will see you all next Friday. See you Monday night on Bill's channel, and maybe and then tomorrow night's Joey. I think it's going to be on. I think 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 his time. So we'll see y'all later.
Night.
Hey, everybody.
Later, guys.